Um,
Our universe billionaires design rockets. RPM's billionaires build Zords. And that's not that far off considering what Mr. What was his name from Time Force did.
right. Well, I mean, Google's parent company is called Alphabet.
Yes.
Maybe. Just maybe. You think Disney was trying to warn us about something back in the day?
It's Disney.
Yeah, I think Disney would like they're too deep into it, right? Like, no, we have to get this out to the public somehow. I know we're doing things ourselves, but like, this is worse. Like some sort of stupid thing like that.
All right. 15 minutes or so into this, let's get to the actual main sticking point.
Let's talk about I guess external media outside of Power Rangers and whether they can fit and they could not. I'm gonna be honest. For the most part, if it's not in the show, I consider it non-canon.
And I would actually agree with you. This is one of those examples where we're going to have to make the disclaimer right now for those who have been waiting for it. Everything is your interpretation. If you want to hold something canon, that's your call. And headcanon is, well, that's headcanon. That's the point. And me and Eli actually do disagree on this to a certain degree. Because the main sticking point we're talking about here is the Boom Studio comics.
Well, before we get to that's the big one. That's the big one. But I guess let's talk about some minor stuff. Essentially, before Boom, how Power Rangers comics worked is that they were kind of an extension to the show, right? Like even like the Disney I forget what was it called, Disney Adventures magazine and JetX magazine stuff, which for the most part, from what I've read, don't contradict the show at all, but they're not like the Marvel comics and the I forgot who originally who was the first one to have the PR license back in the 90s. No, it was someone else. I have the name somewhere.
Would it be Image?
No, I have the name of I have a list. I just need to pull it up. Whatever. The Hamilton comics. Hamilton comics and the Marvel comics. They pretty much kept in terms of actual writing spirit similar to the show, and those are debatable whether Hamilton comics, Marvel comics, magazine comic strips, those are debatable whether they sort of can fit in, because even on record with the Marvel comics, one of the writers of Forever Red say that they're canon because that's an excuse for how Jason has his morpher. Right?
Yeah. But then again, also some of the writers on Forever Red say Scorpion Rain is canon, which is also questionable.
Right, which is not. It depends. It also. Let's brief tangent. Let's get into writer headcanon, and actor headcanon. If it's not in the show, I kind of don't believe it.
There are things, as always, to be learned from this, and this is, in a sense, sort of the same way I feel about other comics and stuff. I've never actually read any of the older comics except for one or two. But
okay, well, let me just kind of, I know someone's gonna some smart aleck who is going to mention this eventually. Yes, the Tokyo Pop comics are technically canon because they're screen caps from the show that are pasted in a way that they're comics.
Okay.
That's how. Yeah. Okay. For the, you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Okay, so Tokyo Pop is a manga, was a manga producer in the mid 2000s, where they had a deal with Disney, and maybe some other comic book, some other TV channels, where they produced like, I think they're called like cinematic comics, where essentially I didn't have any of the Power Ranger ones when I was a kid, but I had a Lilo and Stitch one, and where they would just like take screenshots from the episode and put like bubbles.
Oh, so literally just comic adaptations of the episode.
But like it's not even like but like they take screenshots from the show.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Literal
like for Lilo and Stitch the animated series that kind of worked.
Yeah, because animated.
Right, but for Power Rangers it didn't. They had Ninja Storm and they had Dino Thunder. Power Rangers doesn't work because it's live action.
Yep.
Yeah.
I always want to track some of those down. If you could find some of those and put them up on screen as we're talking about them, that'd be great. Just show how ridiculous those look.
Yeah.
I could understand though if you don't.
I'm probably gonna look for them. Yeah. Okay, let's go back to the thing. Come on, Bob.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the big elephant in the room, which is the Boom Studios comics?
Oh well, I thought we were talking about writer headcanons and stuff.
Oh yeah,
right. We're saving the Boom stuff for like.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. That's.
Yeah.
I was actually talking about some about this like an hour ago.
Yeah.
By the way,
what are your thoughts on headcanon?
I like writers have more credence than actors.
Especially than actors.
But I'm not even like I wouldn't even consider like writers headcanon, to be like valid just because sometimes the show just tends to contradict it outright. Like,
yeah, but
again, the whole Scorpion Rain thing, which it's like very debatable. And I don't know. It just sort of whatever. If for the most part, if it's not in the show, it's just whatever. There's nothing wrong with like saying that that's part of like your PR story. There's nothing wrong with like saying Riley's gay or saying there were other like all the other Astro Rangers died, or whatever. It's just not really like so official.
Yeah, that's sort of a similar way I feel where it's like take it or leave it. And in some cases, I think it's one of those things, it's until the show comes along and has direct contradiction, it's the type of thing where I look at it and it's like, okay, that's definitely interesting. It's sort of like possible optional lore is sort of a good way to think about it.
Yeah, that's headcanons in a nutshell,
Pretty much. Yeah.
Especially like when they're popular, right? Like eventually like stuff like this becomes canon. Like the whole like the Harley and Poison Ivy ship, was just became so popular that the writers just decided to say, yeah, screw it.
Yeah. Another interesting example though, where you have another thing that I need to check to see if it has actually happened yet. Apparently, from what I've heard from news sources and whatnot, the whole idea of them planning to use the the Die Ranger suits for Ancient Rangers for Lost Galaxy. apparently that was not something they were actually considering. Like they want to use the Die Ranger suits for something, but specifically the whole idea of the Lost Galaxy involving them and ancient rangers that originally had the Quasar sabers. Yeah, apparently those originally had nothing to do with the Die Ranger suits. One of the writers actually did come out and say, yeah, no, we were never actually considering that.
Huh.
They like certain things were floating around, but they never actually got around to using or even planning to use the Die Ranger suits for anything specific.
Maybe the idea kind of came up because it does, Lost Galaxy does use like some minor Die Ranger stock footage for
and the morpher, it's one of those things I
right.
do think there is credence to it, especially because the morpher for the Magnus Defender is actually the Die Ranger morpher.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting idea. But apparently there is at least one writer, one of the head writers, that came out and said, no, we were not actually planning on doing that.
All right. But yeah, so let's I guess just continue. Bandai produced like occasionally comics that had like that came in toys sometimes. Which there was this comic book about how like the Spirit Rangers have they're full, they show up in full master garb. Like they're fully like, but like the toys, they have like regular base ones and then master mode too.
Yeah, I've seen it, I think.
Yeah, you see like the non-master mode, I guess, variants. And like, yeah, the there's like a comic that kind of explains that sort of weirdly enough. There's like a weird comic that definitely doesn't work with the show. Like, like the the masters, I forgot what their names.
Finn, Swoop, and Fant.
Right. Finn, Swoop, and Fant.
And I did that in reverse order.
No, I know. I well, to be fair,
yeah,
I know their name. I know which one because they're supposed to be like kind of references of like what their actual. No, I think Swoop and Fant are their last names.
Probably
because Finn has to have the same first name, but the same last name as RJ.
What is RJ's last name anyway?
Johnson, I think.
Oh, cool.
I forgot what his full. I can look it up if you want, but like his last name is known. But something with a J or something else. Maybe like or whatever. Like I know his. Whatever. But like so like they were like they're telling a story to the main trio that like, oh, back in the day, like they're like in like those like animal forms from
the finale.
Well, I was gonna say from Geki Ranger, but yeah, from the finale. And then like, back in the day, we were the first Power Rangers Jungle Fury Rangers.
No, you weren't.
No, yeah. Like that was like the comic for some reason. And I was like, I was watching Dawson Writers, like I guess sort of like kind of review on it. And he got it from like back in the day and like he kind of kept it. And he's like, oh, like, yeah, this is my head canon for like, how it's like, okay, that kind of contradicts whatever RJ said introduction to the whole Pai Schwa Ranger relationship, but
Yep, specifically like it's literally stay out right. Now, the Power Rangers have nothing to do with the Order of the Claw.
like at all. And it's pretty much RJ just found a way to tap into the morphing grid and use their animal spirits to fuel the morphers or whatever.
That literally RJ knows someone who knows someone who knows someone.
Yeah. Who my headcanon is probably Hartford or Tommy, either or. The someone who knows.
You know, I think maybe he knows Adam.
I don't see it.
Well, here's the thing. But Adam was known to still be doing, when we last saw him in Overdrive, he was still doing martial arts stuff. Like, I think he said he was running a dojo or something.
That doesn't mean kung fu.
I know, but what I'm saying is like martial arts, guys tend to run in similar circles and like they just like to talk and compare notes. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually met through there. And we also know that
What's that he met someone who met someone who met someone. That's so I guess.
Well, I'm saying is we also know that Adam was at least partially, even back in all the way in space, 1996. So a full like 12 years beforehand, looking into the possibility of tapping into the morphing grid himself.
Right, but that's like, yeah, I don't know. I just think like I'm pretty sure like most of like whatever like the MMPR Rangers do is karate anyway, specifically.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That whatever.
I know, but it's like for some reason I think Adam was like specifically known. And again, come to think of it, Adam is the only original MMPR Ranger that's like returned until like think about how ridiculous it is that after Forever Red, the only times we've ever seen Jason on screen after he left
is Grid Connection. Yeah.
Was Zeo, Forever Red, and then Grid Connection. It's like
right, but like all I'm saying is like like people do kung fu don't really have like what don't really run into people who do karate. Like you should know, right? What are you like what rank are you?
I'm technically low rank, but
no, I meant like belt. I meant like belt or sash.
I'm a yellow sash, which in my system's like 2 ranks up from beginner, but
but that's like enough into it to know that people don't really those type of groups don't really mesh.
Well, actually, no, that's the thing. It's like when I find other people that do martial arts, I do like to talk to them and see like compare notes and what their system is.
Oh,
yeah, it's one of those things. It's like we don't necessarily, and I think there are interdiscipline competitions and stuff.
Yeah, but like when like the fighting rules need to be regulated, so like you can't like there's like a broad spectrum of things that you can't do versus like specific.
Yeah, but a lot of martial arts, like unless you're specifically looking at things like boxing, most base martial arts have very similar sort of like a lot of them all use kicks, all use punches, all use grapples. So it's like if it was boxing versus martial arts or MMA or other stuff like that, that's not fair because boxing is very specifically only hands.
Well, yeah, I just like I don't know. I just feel like certain martial arts can kind of dominate over others. Karate and kung fu are they're not interchangeable, but they're kind of equal in terms of fighting style. But like if you get like a guy who knows Krav Maga compared to a guy who knows karate, the guy who knows Krav Maga is going to win. Kind of. I don't know.
Anyway, that's now that we've gotten off on this tangent. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't know. Krav Maga, there's like it's sort of a no holds bar type thing versus karate. Yeah. It's whatever.
Yeah, Krav Maga is literally, destroy your opponent, destroy your opponent, destroy your opponent.
Yeah. Okay, fine, whatever. You know more about martial arts than me, so I guess I'll concede to your thing.
Yes.